So many people give their attention to what's happening in their life. And there are a lot of things that are happening in your life that are wonderful. We encourage you to focus upon those. But we encourage you to be more of a selective sifter, to sift through the aspects of your life and focus upon the things that feel good when you focus upon them. You just can't get enough of that. Anytime you focus upon something that feels good, you're coming into alignment with who you really are and with what's being held for you in vibrational escrow. Do you know that over a period of 30 days or less, as you make an effort every day to find the best feeling thought you can find on any subject, not the best feeling thought you've ever thought, or not the best feeling thought anybody's ever thought. Some of those are frankly out of vibrational range for you right now. Just the best feeling thought you have access to right now. And as you consciously acknowledge that you are feeling relief, what happens to you is you consciously move up the emotional scale. And as you consciously make that effort, now you are what we like to call a deliberate creator. You are using your own guidance to put yourself in vibrational alignment with who you really are and what you really want. It really is the leading edge here. You have come forth into this physical experience with the clear intention of letting the variety of this time and space inspire within you clear, new ideas. Not just for you, but for all that is. Do you understand that you are the leading edge of that which we are? You are the leading edge of that which you call God, of that which you call Source. That's why God or Source, whatever name you want to give it, revels in delight with the new ideas that are born within you. We'll say this to you several times here today because it is the most significant new awareness that we are achieving in these Art of Allowing workshops. When your environment produces within you a new desire, you must get up to speed with the new desire in order to experience your fullness and your joy. You just can't let your experience give birth to a new idea and keep beating the same old drum and not let yourself go to the new place. You cannot take your desires back. You can't draw back from the leading edge. You can't draw back from what your experience has created, because it's not just created for you, it's created for all that is. So all that is benefiting by your leading edge, chewing on the data. This workshop is not about that. That is a given. This universe will expand effectively because of your participation in it here in this body. And Source Energy is eternally grateful to you for your willingness to play in this game. But this workshop is not about that, because ideas are going to be born within you no matter what. You can't hold them back. And Source is going to get into sync with those ideas that are born within you. You can't hold Source back, but you can hold you back. And when you do, you feel negative emotion. You cannot be up to speed with all that you are and all that you are becoming, but you'll feel negative emotion. Your guidance system is letting you know. Jerry and Esther, as they travel from Phoenix to San Diego, they do it quite often. Over the years, they've done it many, many times. They love to be in San Diego. And it's a 400-mile trip. They know the way. The journey is so understandable to them that they never worry at all. They don't get to the halfway point of Yuma and freak out because they're not in San Diego and get all disoriented and turn around and go back to Phoenix. It's really clear. They know they've got to go west, and they know about how long it will take, and they don't worry about it. They just keep going, and they always get there. But many of your journeys, like those from not enough money to plenty of money, or from sickness to wellness, or from a not wonderful relationship to a wonderful one, or from an absent of wonderful relationship to the presence of a wonderful relationship. There are many journeys that you are upon that you don't know are quantifiable, like the journey from Phoenix to San Diego. And the reason you don't know they're quantifiable is because you're not utilizing the guidance system that is within you to let you know which way you're going. We see some of you. Your experience has brought you to a place of disease, maybe even to a frightening diagnosis. And in the middle of all of that, you're launching these clarifying rockets of desire, which have created for you in your vibrational escrow a better feeling body and a healthier body than you've ever lived so far. because this contrast has caused an amending of the desires, and so your potential physical bodily experience is dramatically improved by the sickness that you're living. You hearing this? But instead of becoming a vibrational match to this magnificent new wellness that has been produced by your experience here, most of you instead focus upon the diagnosis. Go back for another test. So you're hopeful at first, sometimes, depending on how dire the diagnosis is. So you start heading toward your wellness. And then you go in for another checkup, and the manifestation has not shown improvement yet. And then discouragement washes over you, and you turn around and go back to Phoenix. So you go Phoenix, Yuma, 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 and then you say, I've lost my way. And we say, it's because you're listening to something other than your own guidance. When you're listening to your own guidance, you cannot lose your way. Because your own guidance will always feel good when you're moving toward the wellness that you want, and it will always feel bad when you're moving away from the wellness that you want. That's why the diagnosis felt frightening. That feeling that you have is your indication that this thought that you've got activated right now is taking you in the opposite direction of what you want. It's your Magellan saying, when possible, make a legal U-turn. But what's happening to so many of you is you have learned through trial and error, as you've been banging around with other humans, you've listened to them who try to guide you. And there are so many opinions. Go this way, try this medicine. Go this way, try this, try this, try this, try this. And you get lost out there in the desert, where if you would just listen to the way you feel, and you would reach for the increasingly better feeling thought, you will find your way on your path. And in time you will discover something that we know so well, and that is, it's lots of fun on your way to where you want to be. And the reason that that is such an important thing for you to try to comprehend is because you're not ever going to get it done. There are always, always, always going to be more unfulfilled desires. There will ever be more in vibrational escrow that you are reaching toward. So if you're waiting until it's manifested before you feel good, you're going to have a long, long wait, because it can't manifest until you feel good. You say, well, things have manifested before, and we say, it's because you've lined up with it in some way. Most of you don't let yourself line up with something until a large body of population already lines up with it. And then you say, well, maybe I believe that, maybe. What we want you to understand is that everything that you see, everybody is experiencing truth. In other words, there are lots of truths you want to live, and there are lots of truths you don't want to live. So stop using whether it's true or not as the criteria of whether you should give your attention to it or not. Because there are true cancers that you don't want. There are true terrorisms that you don't want. There are true things that you do not want to live. The criteria that you must use is, how do I feel when I contemplate myself being smack dab in the middle of that? And if the idea of living that out strikes terror to your heart, if the idea of living that makes you feel sick to your stomach, if you are looking at something that makes you feel bad, you are moving toward something that you do not want. Systematically moving toward it. Now here, this is the most important thing to understand about vibration relative to manifestation. More than 99% of every creation is complete vibrationally before you begin to see manifestational evidence of it. Which means you can be well along your way, almost to San Diego, before you see San Diego. Is that hard to hear? In other words, you're on your way, you're on your way, you're on your way, you're on your way. You've completed a large amount of your journey before you see your destination. And that's true vibrationally with everything. More than 99% of your creation is complete vibrationally before you begin to see any manifestational evidence of it. So you could be well along your way to recovery from anything unwanted. And even though the manifestation is not there for the doctor to proclaim the cure has come to you, vibrationally you're there. And you can tell by the way you feel that you are. And if you can hang in there in that attitude of belief or knowing, it must come. So, since 99% of every creation is complete before you see any physical evidence of it, do you get it that out there in vibrational escrow is the culmination of all the thoughts that you've been thinking, and then there's the potential for wonderful things as well as the potential for not so wonderful things, all lurking there somewhere? and that you can tell by the way you feel whether you are systematically marching towards something that when it gets there you're going to like or not like? Do you realize that Henri nets you a result that when it gets there you say, what did I do to deserve this? And we say, you get what you think about. You just can't get around that. You get your vibrational content. What I think and what I feel and what manifests is always a vibrational match. There is no exception. We want you to get more into your dream world and out of your reality world. We want you to start thinking more about what can be instead of about what is. We want you to turn immediately to the solution and don't beat the drum of the problem. We want you to understand that you don't have to justify your worthiness by examining and stirring the problem up. Give your attention to the solution and let the universe show you how fast it can accommodate you. So the next time some dead genius like Abraham, well, we are infinite intelligence, you know, says to you, are you enjoying the contrast of your time and place? You want to wholeheartedly say, yes, I am. Because out of that contrast is born the new idea, and there's no problem whatsoever getting to the new idea because the way I feel leads me right to it. I can tell every single time whether I'm moving towards something that will please me or towards something that won't please me, towards something that I want or towards something that I don't want. You can tell by the way you feel. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing off limits. We see our most valuable work to you in assisting you of knowing what your vibrational content is. We'll help you clean up your vibration on anything that's important to you. It doesn't take much focus to improve your vibration dramatically. If you are in despair, we may not be able to bring you all the way into bliss. Joseph Campbell says, follow your bliss. And we think those are the best words that any human tongue has ever spoken to any of you. But sometimes you can't even get a whiff of bliss. Law of attraction will not give you bliss when you've been beating the drum of despair. It's not in your vibrational library right now. You can't just reach out and pull it off the shelf. It's not there. Don't you know that? Haven't you had some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed student or teacher of Abraham or some philosophy who's feeling really good in the middle of your despair announce to you, you need to cheer up? You know, you are the creator of your own reality. And you want to say that can't possibly be true or you'd be gone. Because it does not feel good to have someone who is bright and connected counseling you when you are in despair. You are where you are. And where you are is what you have access to. And what you have access to is what you've got to make your world from. You can't make your world from something that you don't have access to. But if you're reaching for the leading edge of what you have access to, you can move consistently into a better vibration. If you're making the best that you can from where you are, things are going to get better and better and better and better, and you're going to move right up the vibrational emotional scale. But if you're making the worst of it, and you do that, don't you, from time to time? Why do you? Why do you make the worst of it? Esther knows why she does it. She makes the worst of something because she saw it coming and tried to warn people. And then when it got there, she wants to say, see, I was right. I knew that bad thing was coming. We should have all been smart enough not to let it come. And we say, are you smart enough not to keep it here? Or do you want to keep talking about how you saw it coming? In other words, you've got to decide that it's more important to you to feel good than to be right. Why else do you make the worst of things? Sometimes you make the worst of things because you're trying to justify where you are. Every fiber of your being knows that life is supposed to be good for you. And when life isn't good for you, you're sort of freaking out on vibrational, even unconscious, subconscious levels because you know it's supposed to be better. And when it isn't going the way you think it should go, then you want to sort of retrace your steps and explain why it isn't going better. And we say, don't do that. Retracing your steps just holds you in that place you don't want to be, just keeps the vibration of what you don't want active longer. Just keep saying, from where I am, where do I want to go? As Jerry and Esther programmed Magellan to their new destination, Magellan never says, where have you been? We need to know where you were yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before we can calculate your route. Isn't that illogical? But Magellan, what does where I was yesterday have anything to do with where I am now in relationship to where I want to go? Well, if Magellan were speaking for you, Magellan, the navigational system, would say, well, I'm just wanting to help you to justify why you're where you are before you move on. wanting to explain to you how you got there. Let's go back 5 years. Let's retrace your step. No, 10 years. Well, when were you last with your mother? 45 years. All right. Let's go back 45 years. And it'll take a while.